Our last interview with Ron Wikso was in 2021. Since then, Ron has joined the Steve Miller Band. Music Explorer and Ron discuss how that came about and a stadium tour with Def Leppard in 2023. We also talked to Ron about joining Revisiting Creedence, a new band he joined with former members of Creedence Clearwater Revisited. Hey Ron, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good. It's been a while since we last talked. It's been 2021. So what's been going on since then?
In 2021, in August, actually almost exactly 4 years ago, I joined the Steve Miller Band, and I've been doing that. That's been a big focus, and also at the same time, I've continued working with my buddies from Creedence. With Kurt Griffey and Dan McGinnis, we have a band called Revisiting Creedence. And then I've been doing some other stuff. So, I have a couple records I've done with Marcy Request, my girlfriend, and did a record not too long ago with a guy called Simon Marwood. And the project is called Lost and Found. And Lee Sklar played bass on that. And
Awesome.
Phil X played some guitar on that.
So tell us how you got involved with the Steve Miller Band.
Actually, I can tell you the date. It was August 19th of 2021. I got a phone call, probably 9 o'clock in the morning. I got a call from Scott Bourret, who was Steve's manager and had been Steve's manager. I think he managed him for over 30 years, 31 years or something like that. Scott and I go way back. He and Herbie Herbert, who was Journey's manager, were both the managers of a band called The Storm, which I replaced Steve Smith in that band back in 1992. So that's how long I've known Scott. There was a show on August 21st of 2021, which was a benefit show for the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. And it was the 20th anniversary of 9/11. So this show was being done in New York at the Jones Beach Amphitheater. And it was a big thing with a whole bunch of bands. Journey was the headliner. We were on right before Journey, and John Fogerty was on it. Ann Wilson was on it. Gavin DeGraw, Wyclef. There was like a whole bunch of people there. So I got the call to do that because Gordy Knutson, who was the drummer in the Steve Miller Band for 30 some years, he had a personal issue that came up and he wasn't going to be able to make it to the show. So Scott asked if I could jump in and do it. Fortunately, because of all the bands that were on the event, it wasn't a full show, a full Steve Miller Band show. We only had to do 5 songs, basically 25 minutes. And so they gave me the 5 songs to learn, which I spent most of that day, the 19th, learning them. And then getting ready to leave, I had like a 6 a.m. flight the next day to New York. When I got there, they said, we changed 2 of the songs.
Really?
So I had to learn those in the hotel room. It was just me and the other 4 guys in the band and the crew. Steve wasn't there. And so we went over everything as best we could, right, in that given amount of time. And then the next day was the show. And but unbeknownst to me, Steve was watching the sound check / rehearsal on a FaceTime. Somebody, they had a phone, so Steve could watch it. And at the end of it, Scott came up and handed me the phone and said, "Hey, Steve would like to say hi to you." And so that was the first time I talked to Steve. He was great. He was super nice and very appreciative that I was able to come in. And then the next day was the show. And after the gig, he came over and was, really thanking me for stepping in and doing that. And but anyway, at that point, Gordy had decided basically that he didn't really want to do it anymore. So they asked me to just be in the band. So, which was great. I was thrilled. That's how I got in the band, and it's been fantastic ever since. It's a great band, great bunch of people. Steve's been fantastic. He's been playing great, singing great. I'm very grateful.
Yeah. So tell us about the stadium tour. What was that like, and how did that come about?
Somebody had the idea to put that package together. I was told that they did a bunch of research and said that it would be a great package or whatever. And, Steve has known the Journey guys for many years, all the Bay Area connection. And I know that the Steve Miller Band and Journey have toured together before. So I was thrilled to get to play at all these amazing baseball fields, especially Wrigley Field and Fenway Park and Citi Field, because I grew up on Long Island. There was supposed to be 3 shows that Hart was going to do, but they couldn't do, I think, because Ann had some health issues. So we actually wound up doing one of the ones that they couldn't do, and I think Cheap Trick did the other 2. We got a lot of great response from audiences and critics and reviews and all that kind of stuff. So
last year in Eminem did Houdini, and that just shot Abracadabra back up the charts.
Right, that happened not too long before the stadium tour. So in fact, there was even talk of him coming out. That we played Comerica Park in Detroit, but it didn't happen. I think he was in Europe or something like that. But that was a big deal for Steve, for that song, New Life.
Yeah.
I saw recently there's a Rockin' Me is being used in a car commercial. So, the music is it's classic. It's timeless.
Yeah. So were there any highlights from the stadium tour?
Meeting all the guys in Def Leppard, those guys are fantastic. In fact, I'm going to go see them in a couple days. Some of the venues, like I said, playing Wrigley Field and Fenway Park. We got to play SoFi Stadium. We did a few shows with the Eagles back in around October of 23.
Right.
Because Steely Dan, Donald Fagen had gotten sick, so we filled in at the last minute on some shows with them. And Don Henley was like, he was singing Steve's praises. He's like, he kept saying he would announce it when they came on. He'd say, "How about that Steve Miller, 80 years old and still kicking ass?"
Awesome. That's really cool. That's really cool.
A couple of other highlights was a lot of the ballparks that we went to. They would provide us with like we could get a jersey, so I got a Padres jersey and all these different jerseys, and they would always have our last name on the back. Now, I grew up as a Mets fan, Mets, and I like the Yankees too, but I grew up as a Mets fan. So we played Citi Field and got this amazing swag package from the Mets with a duffel bag and a hat and all this stuff, a jacket with Citi Field with a guitar pick looking thing on it. Just a
cool. Great
package of stuff. And there was a jersey in there, and it's the only one of all of them where they misspelled my last name.
Really? Oh, man.
So I was like, dang, the Mets.
What are some of your favorite songs that you played of Steve Miller's?
All the hits are fun. Take the Money and Run is a fun one. That whole drum intro was kind of cool. Gary Malaber, I believe, is the one that played that, and it's a really cool part. So I'm honored to get to replicate that as best I can.
Awesome.
So that's fun to play, and Jet Airliner, the Joker, they're all fun. There's some other ones. There's one that's a little less well known called Shubada Do Ma 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 Ma, which I love to play because it's kind of a funky little, weird little groove that's cool to play. And anyway, it's fun because there's a wide variety of feels to play. Steve loves the blues, so a lot of times at Soundcheck we'll play blues stuff just because he likes doing that, and sometimes we play that in the set. Actually, my second full show with the band, Steve called the song, he goes to the audience, he says, "I think I'm going to change the set." And he turns around, he looks at me, and I went like, "Okay." And he goes, "Why not?" And so he starts telling the audience about this song. It's a song called Cow Cow Calculator, which is from the 60s, I guess, on one of his early records. And I had never heard it before. So he's telling the audience about this song. It's only my second full gig with the band. And Joseph, the keyboard player, who's been in the band for 30-some years, he's over there like air drumming the part to me. At the time, I thought, I wonder if this is like a test, like he wants to see how I'm going to do or something.
Right? Yeah.
But Joseph, he had a different take on it. He said, "No, I think it's because he was comfortable with you that he felt he could do that." So
that's cool. That's
either way, it was great, and it worked out fine. And I didn't get fired, so
Right?
I was glad for that. I've always wanted to play something with McCartney. He's one of my heroes, and he and Steve know each other.
Oh,
They've done some stuff together. In fact, Paul played on an early record of Steve's. The song was called "My Dark Hour," I think, and he played on it under a pseudonym, I think.
right.
And that song, if you listen to it, it actually has the guitar riff from "Fly Like an Eagle" in that song.
Really?
So Steve must have had that lick, years before he ever did "Fly Like an Eagle." Anyway, so they've known each other for a long time. I was always kind of hoped that maybe McCartney would show up at a gig and sit in with us, but it hasn't happened.
Is there anything else you wanted to talk about that's going on?
I filled in for Doug Clifford, who's the original drummer for Creedence Clearwater Revival. He and Stu Cook, the bass player from CCR, had a band called Creedence Clearwater Revisited, and I used to do shows when Doug couldn't make it. He had a few health issues he had to deal with it, and so I wound up doing about 90 or 100 shows with those guys. And since that time, Stu and Doug retired, but the singer and guitar player, who's a great friend of mine, Kirk Griffey, they have a band called Revisiting Creedence. So I do shows with them, and been playing with them all year, actually. My girlfriend, Marcy Requist, we've done a bunch of recordings with her. We did an original song, A Wall of Glass, and a couple of Christmas songs. But those are great records. Marcy's last name is Requist, if anybody wants to look that stuff up. And
so
it's good.
All right,
thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great talking to you again. Great seeing you. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see you as I wanted to in person, but hopefully soon. We'll make a point of it next year.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, Ron. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.